A cuddly toy. A cartoon character.
A national symbol slapped on Olympic merchandise.
That image is probably the most dangerous lie in nature, because underneath that fur is a biological machine with no equal on land. People make a fatal mistake with brown bears. They see the slow, lumbering walk and assume that's all there is. The facts say otherwise. Over a short distance, a brown bear can reach 37 miles per hour. Usain Bolt, at his absolute peak, hit 27. You cannot outrun it. You can't outswim it either. Bears have been tracked swimming 60 miles through freezing water without stopping.
And climbing a tree? Young bears go up faster than squirrels.
Today, we're breaking down the anatomy of this animal, what separates a grizzly from a brown bear, how its sense of smell outperforms any technology we've built, and why running into a sleepless winter bear is the worst thing that can happen to you in a Russian forest. Let's start with what actually makes this animal dangerous. It's not fat, it's dense, functional muscle wrapped in something close to armor. The brown bear's skull is thick and angled in a way that causes small and medium caliber rounds to deflect off the frontal bone without penetrating the brain. And the skin itself sits slightly loose on the body. In a fight with a tiger or another bear, even if the enemy has locked its jaws into its side, a bear can physically rotate inside its own skin and strike back. A single swipe from an adult male can snap the spine of a bull, a moose, or a bison. The force behind that strike exceeds 1.5 tons. That's roughly what it would feel like to have a car land on you at speed. People often compare bear claws to a cat's. They're nothing alike. A cat's claws are razor sharp and retract. A bear's claws never retract. They're always out, measuring between 5 and 6 inches. They're blunt, not sharp. They work like excavator hooks. The bear doesn't slice. It tears flesh, crushes bone, and digs through tons of earth looking for roots. In a state of full rage, a bear becomes almost impossible to stop. Its pain response shuts down. Hunters have documented cases where a bear with a punctured heart ran another 300 feet to reach the person who shot it. Its eyesight is mediocre, about the same as ours. Hearing, slightly better. But the nose is a different story entirely. A bear doesn't experience the world visually. It lives in a world of smell. The mucous membrane inside a bear's nose is 1,000 times larger than a human's. The olfactory bulbs in its brain are proportionally enormous. A brown bear can smell rotting meat from 18 miles away. It can detect the scent of a deer that passed through 2 days ago. And for anyone who camps in bear country, it can smell a sealed tin of food inside your pack, inside your tent, from 3 miles upwind. A closed metal can is not airtight enough to fool it. Bears pick up scent through microscopic gaps and also trace odors left on the outside of the tin during packaging. Even a can you've washed, one you've simply held in your hands, will give you away. Its sense of smell is 7 times more powerful than a bloodhound's. It's 2,100 times more powerful than a human's. Put that in visual terms, it would be like being able to see stars in broad daylight. You can stay out of sight, you can stay quiet, but you cannot stop smelling. To a bear, you are a walking signal flare. Rule 1 in bear country: never keep food near where you sleep. The smell of cooking meat in the wilderness is an open invitation. The smell of cooking meat in the wilderness is an open invitation. Here's something that confuses a lot of people. Are grizzlies and brown bears the same animal? Scientifically, yes, one species, Ursus arctos. The grizzly is simply the North American subspecies of the brown bear. But the environments they evolved in have shaped them differently. The easiest way to tell them apart? Look at the back. A grizzly has a prominent hump between its shoulders. Not fat, a dense knot of muscle that connects to the front legs. It functions like a hydraulic amplifier, giving the bear the power to flip boulders and tear through hard ground. Eurasian brown bears have a flatter back. The second difference is temperament. Grizzlies are more aggressive. Geography explains why. Brown bears in Siberia evolved in dense forest. When threatened, a mother could send her cubs straight up a tree in seconds. The survival strategy was escape and hide. Grizzlies in North America deal with open terrain, meadows, rocky slopes, sparse woodland. There's nowhere to run. So evolution pushed them in the opposite direction. Attack the threat immediately, without hesitation, at full force. We underestimate their intelligence. And we underestimate their ruthlessness. We underestimate their intelligence. And we underestimate their... Brown bears are cold pragmatists. About 70% of their diet is plant matter, grass, berries, roots, but to build enough fat reserves for winter, they need 20,000 calories a day. Any opportunity to hunt, they take. Now for something you won't find in a children's nature book. Large males deliberately hunt and kill cubs, not for food, for reproduction. Killing another male's offspring triggers the female to become fertile again. It's a brutal evolutionary mechanism. It has a direct consequence. A mother bear with cubs is the most dangerous animal in the forest. She attacks anything that moves because the threat to her young can come from her own species. Cannibalism in brown bears is documented. It's not common, but it happens. So, which predator is the only one that fights a brown bear as an equal? The Ussuri taiga in Russia's Far East is the only place on Earth where evolution put two apex predators in the same territory, the Amur tiger and the brown bear. They don't coexist peacefully. It's closer to a war of attrition. The tiger is a precision killer. It relies on stealth, explosive speed, and a suffocation bite to the back of the neck. It hunts bears the same way it hunts anything else, tracks them, ambushes from behind, goes straight for the cervical vertebrae. But here, it runs into a problem it can't solve. The neck of a large male bear is packed with so much muscle and fat that the tiger's 4-inch canines simply can't reach the vital arteries. And that loose skin, the same adaptation we mentioned earlier, makes the grip useless. The bear rotates inside its own hide and hits back. In a face-to-face fight, the tiger is at a disadvantage. The bear rises onto its hind legs, protecting its own throat, and uses its front paws like sledgehammers. One clean strike can break a tiger's spine or ribs. The bear doesn't try to suffocate, it just breaks things. Data from the Amur Tiger Project, bears win about 50% of documented encounters, often killing the tiger outright. Tigers win roughly 27%, usually by targeting bears that are young or asleep. The remaining 23% end in a draw, with both animals walking away badly injured. Bears frequently steal the tiger's kills. They hear a tiger take down a boar, follow the scent, and simply take the carcass. The tiger, understanding that the injury risk isn't worth it, usually backs down. Bears frequently steal the tiger's kills. The tiger, understanding that the injury risk isn't worth it, usually backs down. Before we get to hibernation itself, we need to understand what leads up to it. 2 to 3 months before winter, a bear enters hyperphagia, essentially uncontrollable eating. The satiation mechanism switches off. It eats around the clock. The goal, add up to 400 pounds of pure body fat. Daily calorie intake in this phase reaches 20,000 to 30,000 calories. During salmon runs, bears turn into selective eaters. They catch fish and discard most of it, eating only the brain, skin, and eggs, the fattiest parts. Fat isn't comfort here, fat is survival. Brown bear hibernation defies basic medical understanding. Scientists call it torpor, and it's fundamentally different from what rodents do. A ground squirrel or hedgehog in hibernation cools almost to freezing. You could pick one up and it wouldn't wake. A bear sleeps lightly. Body temperature drops only from 98 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to conserve energy while still allowing it to wake up and attack within seconds if disturbed. The most common question, how does it go 6 months without using the bathroom? A fecal plug forms in the intestine, a compressed mass of fur, pine needles, and digestive secretions. It seals the gut completely for the entire winter, like a cork in a bottle. No urination, no defecation. If a person lay still for 6 months, their bones would weaken and their muscles would waste away to the point where walking would be impossible. A bear emerges from its den having lost 30 to 40% of its body weight, but retaining 90% of its muscle mass. Its body converts urea back into amino acids and uses them to rebuild protein. Osteoblasts, the cells responsible for building bone, actually outpace bone-degrading cells throughout the winter. And then there's one more thing happening inside that dark den. Birth! Bears mate in May and June, but the female can put pregnancy on hold. The egg doesn't begin developing until November, and only if the female has stored enough fat. If reserves are too low, the embryos are reabsorbed. If they're sufficient, cubs are born in January. They weigh about 1 pound, blind, hairless, completely helpless. The mother is in a half-sleep state, not eating, not drinking.
producing milk that's up to 30% fat, the consistency of heavy cream.
By April, when the family leaves the den, the cubs weigh between 7 and 11 pounds and are ready for their first spring.
But what happens if the fat reserves run out, or if loggers fell a tree and wake a bear in the middle of January? Something called a Shatuun emerges?
The word comes from the Russian verb to stagger, and it's not a metaphor. A bear that can't hibernate undergoes something close to physical breakdown.
Its body is demanding sleep it can't have, while starvation forces it forward. Fat disappears fast, then muscle starts burning.
The cold causes frostbite on the paw pads. Every step is agony, but stopping means freezing to death.
Its behavior changes completely. Fear disappears. A Shatuun moves in a straight line, like a machine.
It follows any smell of food: chimney smoke, a barking dog, a garbage bin. It attacks without warning, without growling. Old Siberian records describe cases where a Shatuun broke through a roof or tore out window frames to reach people inside. This isn't hunting, it's desperation. The animal tries to fill its stomach with whatever it can find: sawdust, dirt, plastic, anything to dull the hunger. The outcome is always the same. A Shatuun is doomed. Even if it finds food, it almost certainly won't survive until spring. When one is reported near a settlement, it triggers an emergency response. Hunters, police, wildlife authorities. There is no way to drive it back into a den. You now know what this animal can do, but none of that knowledge matters if you come face to face with one on a trail. These are the rules people learned the hard way. Never run. That's the most deadly instinct you'll have. The moment you run, you've activated its prey drive. It's faster than a horse. Climbing a tree won't save you. Bears climb better than most people expect. Jumping into water won't help either. Your only real option is to hold your ground. A bear's vision is poor. Standing still, it may not be sure what you are. A stump, a rock, a bush. Raise your arms. Make yourself look bigger. Talk to it calmly in a low voice. Don't shout. That sounds like a wounded animal. Just talk. Hey, bear, I'm a person. I'm moving away. You want it to identify you by smell and sound as a human, an unfamiliar, unpredictable thing it would rather avoid. Don't make direct eye contact. To a predator, that's a challenge. Watch its paws, its chest. Back away slowly, keeping it in front of you. If it charges and makes contact, this is critical to understand before it happens. Around 90% of bear attacks are defensive. The bear is protecting food or cubs. It wants you gone, not dead. If it knocks you down, play dead. Face down, hands locked behind your neck, legs spread. Your pack is a shield for your spine. Once it decides the threat is over, it will leave. So what is this animal, really? Not a monster, not a gentle giant. The product of millions of years of refinement, a creature that can go toe-to-toe with a tiger, survive temperatures that would kill most things, track prey for miles through wind and rain, and give birth to young the size of a stick of butter while it sleeps. As long as brown bears exist in a forest, that forest is functioning. Their range is territory where human rules don't apply. Out there, only one law holds. The best thing we can do is respect it from a safe distance. If this video gave you something new, hit like. It's the best signal you can send. Subscribe for more stories about the animals that share this planet with us. Whether we're paying attention or not,